Hi, welcome to the lecture video for get all of this information in the instruction sheet. Before the semester, we're asking you to look at some other literary magazines and newsletters and also some tutorials to understand a little bit about what we do as literary magazines. And we're also going to set up a bookmark folder where you create bookmarks for all of the things you need for our meetings because our meetings are very fast paced and I need you to have everything open right away. I want to show you why social networking is important. Through our followers on all of our networks, we have a huge audience and we like to reach out to them across networks, and that's what you'll be doing all semester. So now I'm going to turn it over to the interns to talk about what they do. So tagging and hashtagging.
All right, tagging and hashtagging. So, or let's say you're at an event and you take a picture or something with an author or an artist or a poet. You want to make sure that if you post it onto the social media site, whether it be Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you want to make sure you tag them. And by tag them, I mean, what most of us know is we write our name and we'll write their name and then make sure that their account can be tagged onto the post itself. So I'm sure most of you guys already know that. So just make sure you'll always do that, because when I first started, I would always forget towards the beginning. But if you do that, it really helps spread word of the author's work, and it makes more, and that would make more authors be attracted to submitting their work to us. Also, when it comes to hashtagging, when you hashtag, don't do any hashtags on the Facebook posts. Just kind of leave that to be a little bit more professional, and I'll explain that a little bit more on that later. And then when it comes to Instagram, try to only do maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 hashtags, and try to make them very specific things. Like, don't say like hashtag funny or hashtag LOL, even though I'm guilty of doing that. But but I've learned not to do that, but to try to be more specific, like hashtag writers of Instagram, hashtag literary magazines, hashtag Superstition Review. That helps it be very specific, so people will go and when they look at those tags on Instagram, they can find us, and we can find people who are actually interested in what we're posting. So I guess we'll move on to the next slide for curating content.
All right. So I'm Gigi, and with curating content, it's going to be really important. I know we had talked a little bit about how you want to get content. So these are the 15 different subcategories and how we get our content, and there's different apps on how we have it separated. So you can look through depending on what audience you want to share with for that day or that post to help you narrow it down. And then the next slide, one of the best ways that's helped us curate content is through an app for Feedly, which you'll have access to. The app has everything organized into the 15 different categories, and you can kind of click and scroll through and see what everyone's posting about. And then the first picture kind of just shows you how to navigate there. You can click on where that red circle is at the top, and when you go over to the side, you can either click all and let you just look through everything at once, or if you want, you can go through each category and kind of see what each different post and blog is sharing. And this really helps as well with Twitter. If you don't want to use Feedly, there is the same exact organization on Twitter as well. It'll be found under lists, and you can find that by either being on our profile page and clicking where our red circle is, or if you go to the top of the profile icon and you click down, there will also be a list right at the bottom, or the second, sorry, and you'll be able to see that there. And it'll also have the 15 different subcategories, and it'll kind of narrow down rather than just scrolling through your timeline and trying to look for things. And it makes it just a lot easier to find content and share posts and stuff. The next big thing about working with social media, you don't want to just focus on curating content. You also want to work on what we call live work, and it's just really interacting with our audience. And so you want to constantly be engaging with our audience. So replying to tweets and sharing things that our audience would like. And you want to do this as quickly as possible. You don't want to keep them waiting too long. And with this live work, you want to keep it doing about 30 minutes a day, just scrolling through, liking things and replying to things that people would like, just so it sounds tedious, but it does really help build up our audience a lot.
Can I say something really quick?
Sure.
It also helps if you either download the apps or have the page open on your phone. That way.
So I'm going to chime back in for curating content on Facebook. That's the current slide we're on. As with Twitter, with Facebook, you want to share probably at least 5 posts every week. If next semester and the semesters that follow are like this semester was with the blogging, as you guys will find out, the blogging links weren't connecting to Facebook at the time, so we had to go through and post the blogs as well. I would say, and maybe Trish can correct me on this and she can chime in and say something, but I believe that you should post the events and the blogs and then 5 more on top of that. Is that correct, Trish?
We may pull that back a little bit in the spring, especially because one of our big focuses in the spring is always AWP. So we'll be probably curating fewer pieces of content about outside lit events and focusing more on AWP. I also hope to have the blog fixed, so it won't be your responsibility to do that.
Okay, cool. So going back to what I originally said, try to post something, maybe 4 to 5 things, but also follow what Trish says. It could change, but what I did this semester is I tried to do 5 posts a week. And then when it comes to content, try sharing interesting and engaging content. Like articles on Feedly are really good if they're about literary events, literary organizations, literary happenings around the world, as well as just sharing other lit organizations' posts, like going to their site and trying to find something interesting, on a different press or a different magazine that's a literary magazine, and sharing that is also a good way of curating content. Another way to do that is to find literary magazine contests and submissions periods and try to share those as well. A lot of that will be done through the advertising coordinator as well. So you'll get emails from them first before you'll do that. But those are also good things to look out for. Right. When it comes to the content you post, just be creative. Find content that our audience will enjoy and will attract new potential audience members. That being said, going to the next bullet point, posting pop cultural references like memes or humorous quotes, GIFs, GIFs, whatever they are. They can be a good way to generate engagement on a post, but do this very sparingly, because what we're looking for with the Superstition Review is people who will engage in what we do and are interested in what we are as a magazine and not just our post. That means, we want quality engagement and interaction over the quantity. And when I first started here, I was saying, no, a funny meme would get a bunch of people to like it, but it wouldn't get very much engagement when it comes to the actual things that are happening with the magazine. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I'd say maybe 1 out of every 10 posts would be okay, but also follow Trish's discretion on that. And then moving on to the live work for Facebook. When you do the live work, make sure to do it for at least 30 minutes every day, and it consists of commenting on other people's, other organizations or other people's posts, liking the posts, commenting replies to people who have commented on our stuff, and possibly sharing some cool information or giving maybe an update on a past contributor who has done a new work and is doing well, or something along those lines. Remember when interacting with the audience members, or like basically what I mean by that is when commenting and talking to them through Facebook. Remember to do it with more of a positive tone and a friendly tone. It's better to err on the side of very positive and lighthearted than it is to try to be like sarcastic and or funny and have them take it the wrong way. So just try to err on positivity and not on sarcasm. And then another thing, this is very important for all social media networks. Avoid commenting, liking, and sharing controversial content through our sites. And that's a common sense thing, right? Like controversial content like politics, religion, or other topics related to literature or unrelated to literature or the literary community should not be interacted with by our accounts. Doing so is inappropriate and damages the legitimacy of the magazine and the writers, poets, and artists who submit their work to us. Now, that sounds all very dramatic and stuff, but just I wanted to make it sound that way so you make sure not to do it, because that can literally just cause so many problems. As you guys have probably found out, a famous person likes, a racist quote on Instagram or something, and then they end up in huge trouble and losing audience members and stuff. So just try not to do that.
And Michael, I'm going to stop you. So
yeah,
the notion is schedule out posts if you have a lot of content to share. We have a slide about Tumblr sharing. I'm going to share this slideshow with the new social networkers and just move on to Roshni for a second for her slides on Google Plus and LinkedIn.
Okay, so on Google Plus, there is a tab on the left-hand thing, like any keywords like that, and you can find like communities that are filled with content that's like easily repostable. Like you can find other like literary magazines through that way. I know I found a few that I followed and was able to like reblog because of that. They have like daily writing prompts, like short, little, quick ones, like new words that aren't that known that would be interesting to add into work, at least for Google Plus. Yeah.
Great.
And then for curating content for LinkedIn, looking website and just enter in editor, literature, publishing magazine, anything like that, and you can just find a ton of jobs. The only difficulty is finding stuff that's either local or that's like relevant, because you can find like editor positions for like everything, but it's like not, you wouldn't want to work in for an electric company or something, unless that is what you want to do. But most people want to go into like